Yeah, we're gonna trust believing people. We're not
So am
trustworthy.
I.
Alright, so
Devin. He's like,
this whole chapter we are working with logarithms and exponential functions.
I don't even know how
So
he's in there.
this section we are
I really want to go find my Red Bull.
this section we are working with properties of logarithms. So logarithms have three different properties. They have a product property, a quotient property, and a power property. So product property says if inside a log you have two things multiplied together, you can split it up to be the log of the first one plus the log of the second one. So for example, if I have a log of 10 times 2, that is the exact same thing as log 10 plus log 2. Make sure you're filling these out and get your notebook checkpoints. We also have a quotient property, which works basically the same as product, but in this, if you have something divided by something, you can split it apart to be log of the first one minus log of the second. For example, if I have log of x over 4, that's the exact same thing as log of x minus log of 4.
Is it always minus? Yeah.
When it's a division, it's always a minus, yeah. And then our last one, and this one will be much more important tomorrow when we go to solve, but for today, we also have a power property, which says if you have a log of something with an exponent, the log will take that exponent and it's just going to drop it down in front. So, for example, if I have log of x to the 4, the log will take that exponent and it's going to pop it down in front. So I'm going to have 4 times log of x.
Bless you.
So this one is the most important, the power property. There you go, honey.
What?
I thought you can see it. So.
I don't know. I was just looking for my Red Bull.
So power property is the most important one. That takes an exponent and it drops it down in front. Maybe it
Does it?
Okay, so we're going to go through and we're going to be using these 3 properties, our product, quotient, and power. So, we're going to start by expanding out each logarithm. So what I want to do is I want to go through and I'm going to write these different logs. I'm going to write these different logarithms out as long as possible.
I tried.
And one thing to keep in mind, as you go through these, the base doesn't change. So for example, on part B here, if I start with log base 9, I stay log base 9 everywhere. So what we're going to go through, we're going to start with part A here, and we're just going to write this out a long ways. So I have 3 of them. I have a product, quotient, and a power. So on this one, I have log of 4x over y. Well, that division means I can split it up as log of 4x minus log of y. Like that. So I used my product rule here to split it apart. And I could keep going though, because I have log of 4x, right? That's the same thing as log of 4 plus log of x, and then I still have minus log of y.
What?
Because I have a 4 times x right here, right? So I can use my product rule to split it apart to be log of 4 plus log of x. And this is my expanded version. This is my expanded logarithm. And the reason we do these is sometimes they're easier to calculate. For example, I don't know what the log of 4x is, but I know what the log of 4 is. I can plug that in my calculator. And then it's easier to find log of x and log of y. Alright, let's go through on the second one. So, on this one, because it's log base 9, we're going to stay log base 9. And we're going to start off, generally speaking, if you have a division, start with that. So I'm going to expand out this division. So I'm going to have log base 9 of x to the 4 minus log base 9 of 729.
Yeah, you're doing it. You're doing P's, but
Oh, man. I'm not even writing upside down.
P's log P.
Log.
You know what? I was thinking, man, that's going to look like a second G. I better make sure I don't make it look like a G. So I didn't.
You
I
did
didn't
it
make a
backwards.
complete sheet.
Log
Is
Q.
that minus 729?
Yes, minus log base 9 of 729.
Log Q.
That was bad. Log base 9 of x
Oh.
to the 4 minus log base 9 of 729. But we can keep going because we're going to use our
Power.
power. I can't remember if I call it power or
R.
exponential. So this exponent of 4 is going to get kicked out in the front here when I expand it. So I'm going to go 4 log base 9 of x minus log base 9 of 729. So remember, when we do these, we want to go as far out as possible. So that means I got to get rid of all the exponents in there and drop them out front.
Okay, still not getting this one. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. So let's look.
So what we
Alyssa,
have to do, we're not going to get to solving part of this, are we?
not until next month.
Oh, God.
All right. So listen, I have a divide inside here, right?
Yeah,
So if I'm going to expand it out, what does that divide turn into?
a minus.
A minus.
Subtraction.
So I'm going to go log base 3 of 250 minus log base 3 of 37.
Ah,
And that's it. We just expanded it out as much as we could. Alright, your guys' turn. I want you to do part B in the box.
that's how you have to do for that one.
That's all we have to do for A.
Split apart.
Because I can't split it apart anymore.
Yeah.
Any more than that.
What the?
You wouldn't do it like that.
I know look for my Red Bull.
That's what I did.
I'll solve you right now.
What do you do?
There's a
What's
good
that?
5 seconds of typing last case.
Where'd the 4 come from?
What for?
Oh, is that a 9?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a 4.
I will,
Okay.
I will
It
do
looked like a 4.
Look, it
You
says
did the
turn
same thing.
around.
You have this, but I have this. It's like a maple bar.
Turn around.
Maple bar. You call it something else.
It has not been there that whole time. I
Was
would
it a
have knocked it
maple
over.
No, it's
Yeah.
not there, honey.
No, it's not.
Yes,
I
it
looked on the
has.
floor. I laid my head down by Jaden's feet for like 5
Ah!
seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, you're all good. Did I make you a new friend?
It's cool.
Kiwi.
Oh my
I
god.
thought it was just an octopus.
It is.
No, but it's just.
Yeah, I
Wait,
know.
the people on YouTube can see this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to tell them what it is so
They
they'll be
won't
confused.
understand.
Alright, I'll give you
It's like a thumb.
one more minute for part B.
1 more minute.
Yeah.
I can't
That's
even.
just like-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
printed
there.
I don't know what
Logs.
you
Yes.
Wilbur threw it on my desk.
Kid, I
Mine is log 5.
It's the rocktopus.
Can you do that, Cookie? Log
Let's do
3,
these.
9x
And then I moved out.
minus
No,
it was
log
What are
3.
these here?
So, is that a divide or multiply in the middle?
Multiply.
So you're going
add
to
it.
add.
There you go.
But did I say it right?
Yeah.
Plus log 5.
I don't have anything there.
Log 3
Also
of
pretty
9.
bad.
Oh, sorry. It'll be log 3 9
Yeah.
plus log base 3 of x to the
You
5th.
just like,
Ah, da, da, da.
Yep, wrong one. I got flipped around there.
yeah, I
So
can just
log
like
3,
32 of 2.
9x
I got it.
plus
I was thinking you were
log
writing 10.
3
And he was, yeah,
x to the 5th.
coming around.
God, it does look like
Then what? That's it?
And then keep going because can't you take care of the exponent?
9 log 3
I'm not
plus
though.
that.
I so messed up.
that is
X.
that's
It'd be-
5.
I wouldn't want to
I
do
might
that's
use
wrong.
Still,
Six.
How do you do it?
Oh no, I was.
Okay, you got the plus, right?
Yeah.
So log base 3 of 9 plus log base 3 of x to
X
the 5th, right?
Yeah.
What is the power rule say?
to the
Nine
6
Not the
times.
9.
The x.
Not the
The
x.
n.
3.
The
the
5. The exponent goes in front.
That's
Oh.
not
So-
what that says.
As long as you know.
Why is it?
So it would be x.
Oh yeah, there's
So
there's
It's like that.
Right, there's
So
So like x to the 4, right? The 4 goes out front.
So we're gonna put 5 in front.
Jump 5 is going to go in front. But it's going to be in front of the one that has it. So it's going to be in front of that one.
What?
you serious? That's
Oh, it was Wait, no.
Alright, let's go over this one.
yeah.
Let's
That's
go over
not
this
even
one.
the longest.
So Armaya,
What?
what's the first thing we do to split this up?
Yeah, we just do 5 times 3x.
3
It'd just be
It's
long.
gonna be like 3x.
plus
Mm-hmm.
Log.
3
No.
x 5.
Log. Wait.
Okay, so the first way we can expand this out is by putting a plus, because that's a 9 times x to the 5th, right? Which when I expand it, changes to a plus. But I still have that exponent of 5. Get him? But we got to be careful. When I put this 5 in front, I'm not going to put it in the very, very beginning.
Yeah, don't be
I'm gonna
stupid
put
like
it
Melissa.
just in front of whatever log it started in.
Oh.
So I'm going to have log base 3 of 9
Ow.
plus 5
Log 4.
log base 3 of x. Like that. So the 5 was on this logarithm right here, so it's going to go in front of this logarithm.
Well, that's it.
And that's it. We can't expand it out any farther.
No, I wasn't. So wait, if there's, say there's you have log 4, 5x, 3x, you combine the x's?
Yeah, leave that first.
So log
So if it was 5x and 3x, you can put like 15x
or 8x.
or 8x. This is add or multiply.
I don't know what's in between them. Is there times or plus?
Plus, is log 4 5x plus log 4. You put it like that.
If you look at the initial problem,
Oh,
it's
when you put them
multiplication.
together.
Yeah.
I seen
So it's
it.
just like this.
15.
15. So you multiply.
All right.
Bye.
So we were right, but confused.
Have a good day.
All right. So we're gonna do the same thing, but this time around, instead of expanding, we are going to write these as a single logarithm.
We go.
So last time we expanded down as much as we could. This time we're going to shrink them down to a single
This
logarithm.
be 16.
So we are just working backwards from what we did. That's it. We're just working backwards. So if I have log base 4 of 32 minus log base 4 of 2, and I'm going to shrink these down into a single log.
We just shorten.
So I'm going to have log base 4,
Log base
and Raven, we looked at 3 properties. We looked at product, quotient, and power. If I have a minus between 2 logs, what rule is using that?
16.
Division.
I'm asking Raven.
Ah.
Division. So when I put these in a single log, I'm going to take the 32 and divide it by 2. Well, I'm going to have a single log. And when you, I know I kind of go back and forth when I do this. You could put parentheses around these, but you don't need to.
I got confused when I didn't.
Yeah.
It's a single log just because they're both log 4.
Yes. So that is actually a good point. So when we put these together, they need the same base, which I believe everything will have the same base today, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
So if, for example, you ever have like log 2 of 5 plus log base 3 of 6, you can't put those together because the bases are different.
So we done there?
Yeah, so you just say not possible, or just say done.
Yeah, solution.
Alright, we gotta finish this one first.
Finish
Okay,
it.
so I have log base 4 of 32 over 2, and then I can go through and simplify. What's 32 divided by 2? 16.
Good number.
So I have log base 4 of 16. You don't need to write the parentheses if you don't want to, but it might help you keep stuff together better. Okay, let's do part B. So on part B, I have some numbers in front. Carissa, what rule talks about having numbers in front of logs? Are you
Oh, wait, no.
Carissa? Not Alyssa, Carissa.
Thomas is failing.
Right.
Howard.
I'm actually curious about
Which rule,
it.
Carissa? The power rule. So, we're doing the power rule backwards. So we're going to take this exponent of 6, or excuse me, we're going to take this 6 out front and put it down here as an exponent right there. And we're going to do the same thing with this 5 over here on this 5 log base 2 of y.
Stop the lesson.
And we're going to put that in as an
Oh, yeah,
exponent.
that's what I'm thinking.
Alright, what's the good shit? Oh, good.
Why
Keep sharpening.
So I put our exponents in here. Got a question, Hermione?
No, I'm just judging.
So I have... Yes, Austin?
Can you put on Google Class?
Yes.
Oh,
Can I use the restroom?
We finished.
There's a lesson.
We
That's
finished.
what you get for getting
After the
yourself.
lesson, I have to go see Bruce Franco.
Me too.
Oh, you can go on the way.
No, it's not on the way though.
Oh, well. You'll manage. Maybe you should be in the office.
Some night the world.
You should know me so smart.
Okay, so we took care of these exponents out in front. Or excuse me, we took care of the numbers out in front and we put them in like exponents. But we gotta keep going
What
through
do
the
you look
Lena.
at?
We got a plus in between here, right?
What?
Which means...
I just got my pen stuck in my hair.
Lincoln City.
Okay. Alright, I have 2 logs, right? And I'm going to compress them down to a single log. If I have a plus in between them, what am I doing when I put that
I guess
x to the 6
entertainment
and
would
y to
not
the
be
5th
cool.
together?
We're
gonna times them. So I'm going to have log base 2 of x to the 6th
Oh my.
times y to the 5th.
Doesn't resort.
And I can't actually multiply those together, so I'm just going to leave it.
That's
I'm done.
small.
It is.
Oh,
Feels like. I was gonna say.
And you can't
Is this-
multiply them together because
this
they
is
have like
actually
an
huge,
exponent.
isn't it?
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
wait,
that's huge.
I see what you did.
Oh, that is huge. Just, is that 3 stories? I'm guessing they'd have a basement.
Hush. Hush in front.
Those seem like.
Ow.
We're almost done.
We're
Oh.
privileged.
Dude, I was
We're
Hi,
watching
Devin.
this class
Occasionally
thing from
we-
Thursday while I was in Eric. I was
Look,
cracking
look,
up. It's
look.
just funny.
I'm thinking.
Everybody talking.
You know, is it on the beach?
Sometimes I feel like you should listen.
Oh, yeah, duh.
So,
Alright, let's do one more, then you guys will do part B.
Not a real
So, the first thing we always need to do when we compress these to a single log is take care of any numbers in front as exponents. I don't have any on here, so I can just skip to doing whatever I have in between. So I got a plus sign, which means 7. When I put these together, what am I going to do with these?
It does.
We're going to times them. So I have log base 4 of
What kind of
5x
That's actually bigger than
times 3x. And I can go through and I can actually multiply these together, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to have log base 4 of Austin. What's 5x times 3x?
15x.
No.
15x squared.
Oh,
Oh,
15x
yeah, yeah.
squared.
Square. There you go. You
Duh.
forgot the square. So 5 times 3 is 15.
Why is it square? Oh, never mind.
X times x
Oh,
times
here's the
square.
little.
And that's put together as much as we can.
That's not it.
Oh God, Goki,
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm doing up for you.
What?
That, it didn't
Wow.
check the A.
Whoa. Whoa.
What? You
No.
sound almost
Whoa.
Jamaican.
Wait.
Whoa.
That's so
It's just one of
racist.
those days.
You call me Jamaican now?
No, I'm saying you sounded Jamaican.
He's home.
No.
Floor plan.
It's not racist.
I didn't sound Jamaican.
They have a specific accent. It's not racist.
Specific accent.
Alright, you guys are doing part B.
Wait, how do you do this? I didn't know at the front end.
Oh,
It looks so small in there. Childcare is separate from the casino. That's kind of
We'll
nice.
talk about that. It's powerful, right?
People
see working backwards.
Yeah, and drink, and
Cigarettes,
cars.
smoke it to your baby's
No,
face.
you're gonna switch them down to a single one. So you're gonna take that.
Oh, they have buffet as well.
Oh.
No,
Those
I
really
didn't.
good buffet. Legends Casino. It's so deep.
I'll be bloated in.
Where's that?
Oh, like,
Ew.
honestly,
A cat.
I think I've been there. I've been to a lot.
Oh, so I think I cut through.
I think
I can't do that.
So it's like,
Oh God, it's not a cat.
But that is it.
Put it up as the next
I feel like I haven't been to the buffet, but I feel like I've been there.
Buffet's so
God.
deep.
Just be eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready?
And then we can keep going. What's 6 squared? So let's do log 4
Good times.
36
Is you want to go to Iraq today?
minus,
Do you? I don't know if I can, but.
Oh wait.
Alright, and then we gotta keep
What
going.
time did you
Let's
get
switch
home,
this down to a
Devon?
single log.
My
So we have a minus in between, right? What
Actually, I
rule
don't
is
know.
that gonna be now?
You
There's a
can
minus
slept at
in
like
between.
9.
Like 9:30.
4 nights.
Our quotient property, right?
Quit saying that.
Which says, give me an example here,
Oh,
if you ever have a minus.
I want to go to the rack
You
though.
take the top one
I want to go to the rack.
and you divide it by
I
There's
got
no
our
like-
wild
You take the
horse
first
like
one.
this.
Oh,
and
we'll
you
see.
divide it by the second one. The first one was x. and then
You
divide
can't
by
say let's
4,
go to
and
rack
this
and
one.
then we'll see.
Yeah.
I
no.
didn't say let I asked if you wanted.
You actually wanted to go.
No. Because that
There's
negative
now
changes
another
the
wild
digit
horse.
divide. So it would just be 36 divided by.
Oh, that's so funny.
Start streaming.
Don't do that. Actually, he probably doesn't even have a stream.
Wait,
pass.
we'll be back in
I'm not gonna press
four,
it.
It's like the 9 gets
Our-
shoved in
our
there,
lunch
it's 36. It's single one. So it'll be 36 divided by 9.
Say
Like that. So it's like.
Just like that.
Yep.
Done.
What time
That
is
log
first
is
at?
Red Bull and now I can't do home
Like,
I need that.
So 1 4.
God damn it. I hope we're not back in time.
All right, let's go over this first one. Jason, you do it on the board for us since you're up here.
This one?
All right, Jason's gonna do this one on the board. Let's all judge him. As he writes.
You guys all right?
judge nobody,
Exit ticket
Donkey.
No, almost
Is that
up.
in front of you, right?
I dare you.
Uh-huh.
I dare you.
I dare you tell me.
Well, you're not wrong, but keep going.
Keep
yet?
going.
You don't have to. You
What's 6 squared?
Oh, he has to do that.
Yeah.
don't have to.
You. Yeah, you do. What?
6 times 6?
That's 6 squared, 36.
Yeah,
Right,
you-
new line. Make a new line. Wait, what's 36 divided by 9?
3. Wait, no. 4. What?
I don't know.
Really, Jason?
It is
6
4.
divided by 9?
No,
Wait.
wait, 36
So
divided.
our
Oh!
final answer is log base 4 of 4. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So remember, if you can go through and actually calculate something like 6 squared was 36, and then 36 divided by 9 is 4. If you can actually calculate it, do that. If you can't calculate it, like up here, we have x to the 6 times y to the 5th. I can't do anything with that, so just leave it.
Wait, log 9?
6.
That's 4. It's supposed to be log base 4.
Log 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's it.
There's another wild horse.
So if you haven't yet, start on your exit ticket. I'm going to turn on Socrative, and then you guys will have. I'll put your homework on Google Classroom.
That's
Glue,
kind
glue?
of, but they probably.
That's probably what it's based
Just
on.
Google.
Yeah, plagiarized.
Casinos.
Cape Cac.
No.
Okay, I don't get